recording. Cool. Hello, Internet.
Hey.
It is Joon and Mooch from the Nuts team in a Foley room, which we'll get to in a second. But the thing I would really like you to do, if anybody is actually actively watching, um, please join the chat on the Nuts Steam page specifically, and we can like have some fun. Can make Mooch do stuff. Sound
I will
sound
do stuff
stuff,
regardless, but
sound stuff. Yeah, you'll do stuff regardless. We'll do it for ourselves, but it would be more fun if I don't have to come up with all the ideas. Looks like my friend Lars is here, which is great. I've like
I have ideas, John.
you have
Don't worry about that.
two. Give me 2 minutes to both send out a tweet that this is happening, so people will come and hang out, and to drink some water. I'll just
Yeah, water is good.
retweet Char's tweet
Also, those 2 minutes will give me time
to hydrate and to calm down. Yeah, there were some minor issues. There were actually some huge issues with your sound setup, right?
yes, don't buy my pro audio interface if you want to stream.
Okay.
It does the weirdest things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check the levels. They look okay. You look okay. You look great. Sorry, you look more than okay.
I don't see you, so I guess you look
Uh,
handsome as
let's make
ever.
sure we're actually on. Hey, Paul is here. Hi, Paul. Paul is the artist on
Woohoo.
Nuts, and looks like Lars is here as well from the Oddballers team. You should check out that game. It's in the Steam Festival as well. Yeah, let's make some noise. Mooch, do you want to
Yeah.
tell us what a Foley room is and why I'm not allowed to call it a Foley studio?
Yes. But before I do that, if anybody working in movies, especially Foley artists from movies, are watching, I'm sorry.
Why would you check yourself like that?
Because it used to drive me mad in the past as well. Um, Foley is really a profession that comes from the movies, and the way that the word Foley is used in games is really irritating to a movie Foley artist
Right.
because the main artistry in Foley artist working is um, doing stuff in sync to the picture,
Right.
and that's where it comes from. It comes from when the silent movies got dubbed with sound effects. So you had someone standing there in the studio and actually walking when the characters were walking,
Right.
and that is something that's completely lost when you're working on games, except when you're doing a cutscene.
I mean, it's not
Uh,
completely lost. How much would it cost for us to send you to the Steam users' house and sit next to them and make like crunchy leaf sounds when they walk through the forest? Um,
well,
but yeah,
you know my day, right?
yes. But like you've done this live though, right? Because that's how we met. I saw you at a maze doing live Foley in the
Yeah.
traditional sense to somebody
Hmm.
playing a video game.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and I also work in for movies, so I do that kind of work. But when people say Foley in game audio, it's just a bit weird because that part is just not really there. I mean, the nice thing about it is that let's say you have a drawer in your game that opens, or in our case, the trash can.
Right.
Of course, you want to have a sound that syncs to the animation, but that's just one asset,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and it's really a completely different thing performing to picture, to moving picture in sync. And the difference between Foley in games and field recording is like super, the line is blurry. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that's why I found it irritating in the beginning because I also come from the movie side of things.
Do you have a lot of arguments about like is Foley art like people have about games, whether games are art, like these really good conversations that people have?
I don't get into those conversations.
No,
I hate
I
art.
think it's a craft. That was a,
No, not really. I mean, once you've seen a Foley artist in action on stage or in a studio doing it to a movie, There's really no, I think nobody questions it,
Right.
um, because I've been doing this for I think 10 years now, and I still feel like a complete noob um, when I do it for a
Right.
movie because there's so many things and so many subtleties that you have to get in one, well, not necessarily in one go. It's also edited afterwards, but um, when you walk a character and they're like super nervous and walk through the room, and then at some point, I don't know, uh, calm down because something else happens, then you want to hear that in the footsteps as well. So you're like constantly performing with the character on screen, um,
Yeah.
and that's super demanding.
Yeah. Cool. I think we should look at some stuff in your room.
Yeah,
So if
I mean,
people are joining us now, my name is Joon. This is Almut on Google Hangouts through my stream. So sorry for the video quality. Hopefully the audio quality is going to be great because can you actually show your microphone with the main webcam or is that annoying? Uh,
no, it's not
we're
annoying. I just hope that you didn't lie and that there's really no delay between video and audio.
well, do you want to try clapping and then people in the chat can tell us how much delay there is between.
That's the mic.
Oh, a little bit more. I'm actually in the way. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Uh.
Nice. Okay, that's a cool mic. I will come back. I put my face right in front of your mic apparently. And we also have like a foot cam up here. I'm poking your feet right now, um, which I'm not entirely sure. Did you just make us do that so that we could look at your socks, or
Yeah.
the?
No, I mean, I obviously I prepared a bit, and if I would talk about Foley without anyone asking
Mm,
anything, so maybe we should do that until someone asks something.
yeah.
I would start with telling you about footsteps because footsteps are super important,
Right.
and also one of my loves in audio. Um, I really like doing them. Um, yeah. So this is like a super improvised thing. It's I made it for when I do Foley on stage.
Hmm.
You could never use this in a studio, really. Oh yeah, back to your question, why is this not a studio?
Yes.
Um, the main thing about an audio studio in general is, of course, that it has to be quiet
Right.
under all circumstances, and this is like in my flat. So
In
if my neighbors
in Berlin,
would
right?
decide, yes, if my neighbors would decide to blast some heavy metal, you would hear it.
Right.
Um, and again, for games, if I have to record like 5 times something falling on the floor, I can maybe manage in the few breaks of the heavy metal of my neighbors.
Is
But
that
if
like
you were
a
to
is that a
record,
reoccurring? 'Cause you should maybe talk to your neighbors.
no, it's not.
Right. But
Um,
yeah, I get what you're saying. So you could just do it at a time that it's quiet in your apartment.
yeah, exactly. But if you do it for movies, you have like longer stretches of things happening, and if you then have like background noise, it's just killing everything.
Right.
And the other important thing why it's not a Foley studio specifically is that this is a room in a what do you call it? Altbau in English?
House?
It's like yeah, it's a house
Apartment?
indeed. No, I mean the floor is like this wooden board thing that they used a century ago.
It's an old house.
Yeah, it's an old house.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
technical term.
it could also be a new house. The thing is, it's not um, a really firm floor surface. If you walk on it, you
It's
will
a
hear
bouncy
that
house.
it resonates and it vibrates, and you hear that.
Okay.
And if you're, for example, recording footsteps for outside thingies,
Yeah.
then it can be like super annoying because you, by the resonance, you hear that it's actually recorded indoors.
Yeah.
And it gets worse the harder the surface is. So if you had a like this a stone surface and you really walk on that with some weight, you're gonna hear that it's inside.
Casually
Why are
puts
you
on a
laughing?
shoe. Yes. Show us.
Like
Okay, let's make the first sound of the day.
I don't know how much you in the stream now hear
It
it.
feels to me at least like somebody is walking very close to where I'm sitting. Like kind of like as a kid, I had a bedroom and the heads of our bed would be against a wall, where on the other side was a garage like hallway, and we could hear exactly that sound. And it was actually I had a little bit of a nostalgic flashback right now. It was, um,
Okay, let's
yeah,
continue.
let's get it fucks me up a little bit. I feel like we're this is like the intro to a noir movie. It's like black. You just hear this footstep, and you're
Nice.
about to walk into the detective's office. Um, cool. So okay.
Yeah, but on my side, I definitely hear that it's like super boomy
Hmm.
and in a
Yeah,
room.
let's all
So
agree to not judge you on the quality of the sound through first Google Hangouts completely eating
thank
it up,
you,
and then
thank you.
OBS and Steam Stream eating it up. So yeah, um,
Yeah, and one thing that is like super fascinating that different shoes sound like completely different.
okay.
And if you
Do you have a
wanna,
different shoe? Oh yeah,
yeah,
this sound this sound
it's
pretty different.
and if you want to do like different personalities for different characters, a shoe really does a lot of that.
Right. So Torvi asks in the chat if there's a way to correct the resonance or like to adjust, I guess, the resonance after you've done the recording, or if you, yeah, how does that work?
Well, I mean, you can get rid of a bit of the low end that comes up, but I mean, the smaller the room is in general, the more you hear also from the walls bouncing back
Mm,
onto your microphone. And um, I could never record movie follies in here.
right.
With games, you can always, since you have to snip things up into single assets usually anyway,
Mm,
you can do a lot of editing, and you have to do a lot of editing
yeah, yeah,
anyway.
yeah. They're
But
going to be
um,
digital anyway, so yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'd love to have my own Foley stage, but
Well, we'll get you
it's
there.
so
The
expensive.
26 people who are currently watching the stream will all generously donate
Fund my Foley stage.
their money once the game goes live in early next year. In case you're wondering what's going on, we are making a game called Nuts, which you should wishlist on Steam. But we are mostly just here having fun in a Foley studio, which I think we should get to. What is your favorite object in the Foley studio? Asks me, Yon, who is in this hangout with you.
Okay, one of my favorite,
Wait, all
it's
right.
not an
So
object.
let's pause for a second. What are you doing?
I told you about it already. It's ground coffee,
Yeah.
and you can put it on the ground to have that
Ah, yes.
crunchiness.
Can I turn
Um,
you up, or should you,
because
or can you turn you up? What's the best way to if we want to just really listen to the coffee grounds?
I could try adjusting the mic a
Well,
bit.
I mean, I have a slider for your volume. I can just
Yeah, slide me.
slide you. Could listen to this all day.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that sound. It's one of my favorite sounds. Also, when I'm walking outside on
Do
dirt,
you
I'm
bring the
always
coffee
like,
grounds and then you
nice.
throw them on the pavement on the street and then you walk on the coffee grounds?
No, but of course, I always have them with me when I go into a studio to record.
Right.
That's really actually what we use because if you use actual dirt, like sand or something like that, on a hard surface, why are you laughing? Um, then it's gonna be super uh, high frequency, gritty. Sometimes we will have like those weird peaks, and it doesn't sound nice. It's too aggressive, and coffee grounds are really
Right.
perfect. And yeah, this is, by the way, the most important object for a Foley artist. The the thing,
The what?
and
What is
this,
this? A dustpan. Okay. Does it make?
I don't know what is. No, it's just because you have to clean up all the time.
Oh,
Um,
clean up your sound
things get dirty
messes.
all the time, and
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a character walking from outside into a super clean, I don't know, let's say a bank or whatever,
A super clean
um,
bank.
yeah, with a super clean white
Yes.
floor, then you don't want any grit. So you have to clean the floor and also the shoes. So we also do this all the time.
Makes sense.
And clean the shoes. Yeah. But what is my favorite object?
Besides the coffee
I, I
grounds.
I can't really say that a single object is my favorite thing. It's more like a material. I love metal, all things metal, because they're so you can bring them to life really easily,
Mm.
um, and they're super different. It really whether you have like a sorry for the noise.
Badunk, clunk, clunk. Yes.
Yeah, a toaster. I mean, this thing
Oh,
it resonates through the outside, but also these um, the metal grid inside resonates, and the mechanics of the
yes.
you know. So
I love it.
um,
How many sounds are in the nuts game right now that are made with that toaster?
none.
None.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get onto that.
Can we get a toaster in the caravan?
Yeah. Wait, Torvi says he wants to hear some sounds from the camera behind you. Oh, I think there's like a photo camera on one of your
Oh,
shelves. Yeah,
yeah.
let's hear that one.
I mean that thing is actually in nuts for the handling of the cameras.
Oh, so
Um,
the camera sounds and nuts are made with an actual camera? Amazing.
yeah, not one camera actually, but
Oh,
several.
oh, that sounds so
Yeah.
good.
I mean also um, if in a game or in a movie someone takes up the camera in their hands, we're gonna exaggerate that with Foley usually.
Right.
Like the touching, and when they move the camera, usually in everyday life it's
It's pretty quiet.
silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, or quiet, but we would do something to put some weight onto the motion that
Mm,
the person does. So um,
yeah,
yeah,
that's really
that's
good.
the camera.
Can you give
It
us some
also
more
has, I
camera
think,
sounds?
a tiny crank, but that doesn't make any sound. More camera
The,
sounds. Where there's this whoops. I tidied up already, but still it's
yeah.
such a big mess in here. Um, yeah, this thing is a camera stand actually, and I used it for the when you put the camera down and nuts. But I don't remember how exactly. Oftentimes you need to have something else in your other hand to really get the thing um, working, like to make it the appropriate sound that
So
you're
what do you
looking
mean
for.
something else in your other hand? Like another object for it to kind of clank against,
Yeah,
or?
or at least bang this thing
Mm,
to onto your other hand, because in nuts that I made the yeah, when you put up your camera and you put it on the
yeah.
ground, I made it with this thing, but I also added a layer of dirt. I think
It kind
it's
of
like
sounds
some
like
kind of dirt
you're just
on
constantly
top.
playing a point and click adventure where you have to, connect the two objects. Like, yo, you have a rubber chicken and a pulley, and you need to combine them
What?
to do the thing you want to do. Like
Yeah,
Monkey Island.
yeah, that's kind of like it. Yeah, and the weird thing is that a lot of people seem to think that Foley is this magic world where you do everything with something completely different.
Right.
Um,
But you end up doing a
that's
lot.
not
Everything is
well.
basically toasters.
It's somewhere in in between. I mean, um, for example, uh, horse footsteps. You can do them with coconuts.
Hmm.
I couldn't find my coconuts for today.
Couldn't find
I
your
don't know where they are.
coconuts.
Yeah, they're gone.
So the stream is ruined.
It's really a shame for a Foley artist.
Uh,
But so yeah, you can use coconuts, but you can also use these
okay.
things.
This brings us to my favorite part of the stream. I'm now going to come up with crazy ideas, and hopefully other people will as well. So
Oh
can
no,
you give us your best horse even without coconuts?
my best
Yeah.
horse.
Make
Uh,
make Foley horse sounds for my
I don't
pleasure.
know how. I don't have
That's a
anything
pretty good
else
horse.
here
It's
except I can show you something else, but if there's any people out there who are sensitive to, mm, let's say, animal parts, then they should close their eyes
wait.
for a
Oh,
minute
it
or so.
what?
I do have horse hooves, like actual
Oh, like
horse hooves.
actual horse hooves? Okay.
And I was very naive once and had them on stage. It was
Oh,
like, yeah, you can either do it like that or like that. And somebody was like, oh, that's disgusting. I was like, okay, maybe I should put out a warning before. So,
right. I think
you
we
want to see
can.
them?
Um, yes. I think.
Or rather, hear them. I mean, you can hear them without looking, right?
Uh, I'll make the camera window on the feet a little bit smaller, and then people will be like, they're
Yeah,
knockoff horse hooves. We'll say they're knockoff horse hooves.
yeah.
Whoa,
So
they're like a
these
fossil.
are,
That's crazy.
yeah, and also they're like so big. I mean,
They have
it should be
handles.
obvious. I mean, yeah, I mean, these borders are like super sharp and not easy to grasp. Like my hands are too small to really grab them
Yeah.
properly. So I attached
So
handles
I mean, coconuts
with
feel
epoxy,
kind of like a step down from. It's as if a horse was running around in my room.
which brings me to something that's also super interesting. That what you actually use, especially with footsteps and stuff like that, depends a lot on the surface that you use. You know, like these things might actually sound nice on something hard,
Right.
but if you had a horse on dirt or grass, I would probably use the horse hooves because they're like really heavy,
Right.
and so you get more of that thump that you would expect when a horse runs through a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I have another question. Can you make any of the VCR buttons, or how did you make the VCR button sounds? And uh,
No, I can't.
well, you'll have to try. That's the no. But did you?
No, I mean I used a cassette recorder, but a big one.
Oh,
Like it
right.
was a four channel one with a mixer. So and it's actually working. I try not to bring any electronic devices in here that are actually working because they will be dead within a day.
Right.
Because it's always like dusty and dirty. And also when I really when I have a list of things to record, I go through that list, and if I when I'm finished with one thing, I just drop it somewhere. And uh, yeah, so not a good thing to bring um, working things into
Right.
here.
Um,
Um,
okay, but
but
I was wondering about this earlier because you use so much like old and discarded material, but what's your most expensive Foley item?
I mean, this thing
That's a
could
oh, it
work.
could work as VCR buttons. Yeah, can you put it a bit more under the camera? Curious what it is.
That one.
Yeah, well, not so high. Yeah, a little bit. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Which camera?
Either
I see that
either
camera,
one. Yeah, that
my
one's good.
face cam.
I have that one as just so you know, Mooch, that the camera you're looking at now is the one that's the biggest on the stream, and the foot cam is in a
Yeah,
corner somewhere.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
So that's yeah, my most expensive item. Um, I don't know. It's usually the most expensive things are those that I need very quickly. Um,
What?
because usually you know, when I see something interesting on the streets,
Mm,
I just pick it up and carry it home.
okay.
um, like this old wheelchair that I stole, hopefully from no one.
um. Uh.
um, anyway, so and I also go to flea markets and stuff like that. So there I usually pick up stuff that I just find interesting on its own without needing it for something specifically. But when I work on a movie, I get the movie in advance so I can watch it and see what I need to bring. And
Yeah.
sometimes there are things that are so specific that I'm like, okay, I really need this thing. And then I need to get it within a few days. And that usually means like buying it on eBay or new somewhere. And that's like always the expensive stuff.
Right.
I think one of my
That makes sense.
most expensive things is a wooden bucket, a big wooden sauna bucket.
Yeah.
Um,
which you need it for.
I don't have it in here, but I think I bought it when I was freelancing for Ubisoft,
Ooh, good humble brag.
and
Oh, I bought this wooden bucket when I was working for Ubisoft. Yeah. Uh, it's cool.
yeah.
In case anybody was
Um,
wondering, Mooch is a real Foley artist and doesn't only work on indie games.
well, I quit and came to you.
Shit.
I
Um,
didn't really quit.
don't
I mean, it was
come
freelancing, so
on,
there's no quitting.
leave them in the in the fantasy. Indie games are great and not stressful at all to make. Um, what
Yeah,
would throwing some nuts into a pile sound like? Asks Ryan. Hi,
into
Ryan.
a pile.
Yeah, throwing nuts into a
Before I
pile.
answer that, I want to show you this because this
You're
is
just too
definitely one of
excited.
my uh, favorite
Yeah.
objects. I never use it because it can't do much,
Whoa.
but I love those
Those are really good.
yeah. Okay, nuts on a pile of what?
On a pile of what would throwing some nuts into a pile sound like? I'm assuming a pile of more nuts. Do you have any nuts or fake nuts in the studio?
I do. If I open this door and just
And go
go
to the
around the
kitchen?
corner,
How often do you do that? Just go raid your apartment? Wait, let me ask you
too
this. How
often.
often does it happen where your partner is like, Mooch, have you seen the X? And then you have to like sort of, yeah, hold on. And then you have to run into the Foley studio and just like grab.
Yeah, it happens regularly. Um, I have to say, my family is very nice to me. Um, they
They tolerate
they
you.
regularly fall over my stuff and break their toes and
Oh,
and the worst thing is when they're like, "Where's this thing from the kitchen?" And I'm like, "I don't have it." And then like 2 days later, I find it in my junkyard.
oh,
Um,
like the wooden
yeah, it
spoon, the
happens
wooden spoon
all
that
the
was on the
time.
floor the other day. Is that
No, that was my wooden
how
spoon.
often have you made coffee out of the coffee grounds that are that are your Foley coffee grounds?
Um, Never.
Okay, this
But
never goes back.
I have what's that past form that I'm looking for? I drank a lot of weird shit from old bottles.
Sorry, what? You've drank a lot of weird shit from old bottles.
Yes, that's why I'm so nice. Um,
Uh, uh,
for example,
uh, uh,
what
sorry.
another sound that I really adore is when people drink from a
Hmm.
bottle and you hear this, and then when they put the bottle down, the floop of the water or beer or whatever in
Right. Oh,
the
you mean like the
um
sound of the like air filling the bottle, right? Like, can you make that happen?
no
Or does that require
yeah
you to drink some weird shit from
yeah
old bottles?
that's exactly the problem. I mean,
I love it.
if it's just about the sloshing of
If
the
you're just tuning into the stream, Mooch is about to drink some weird shit from an old bottle. This is video games.
I mean, if it was only about the sloshing in the bottle,
Mm,
then you could do this and just you know,
right.
it's also an adorable sound, but the
Adorable.
if you want the yeah, right.
Do you want to do that again, but closer to the mic?
Yeah.
I'll shut up. It's a good sound.
I mean, obviously this bottle is also too big. If you had a beer bottle, you would hear that it's not the right bottle. That's also something that I love about this job, that every object is different. There are so many bottles,
Yes. Take
so
that
many different bottles.
Half-Life Alex demo with the bottle thing. I don't know if this is a inside joke for people who watch a lot of Twitter, but um, drink it.
It's a clean bottle.
One more time.
Yeah, I can't really get close enough.
Great.
Did you hear anything
It
of
was
that?
very subtle, but I hope it was there.
Yeah, I mean, it is a subtle
It is
sound.
a very subtle sound.
Yeah.
Char said, "Drink that power potion." Um, she also asks, so yeah, the nuts are in the kitchen. Those are too far away, right? Because that was the last thing. But
Yeah.
Char asked, she wants to hear the sound you hear when you put a seashell to your ear. Um, I can spoil this for Char and say that like that's actually not the sea you hear, but it's just your own blood running through your body. But either way, can you do that?
I wouldn't know how, but I can do a heartbeat.
You can do a heartbeat
Probably. Yeah,
with
we can do this.
what?
What?
That's it. Wait, do that again. That's amazing. That's just a towel?
Yeah.
This is the biggest mind fuck. Yeah, wow. That's okay. I want more life hacks like that, or not life hacks, just secrets of.
Life
Yeah, a
hack.
lot of people in the chat are like, "Whoa."
Really?
Yeah, this is a
Funny.
Foley highlight for sure. It's maybe it's even like the trade secret and you just spoiled it. And in 5 years, no Foley artist will get a job because all the indies think they can just do it themselves with a towel.
I would actually prefer that to free downloadable sound assets.
Right. Yeah, all of this is copyrighted. Nobody's allowed to put this on free sound.
No,
Um,
I mean also because that's also something that I love about Foley, that you can really adjust everything and do everything custom.
mm,
Uh,
this
yeah,
is
so
so
your
wait, what?
game
There's
sounds
water
great.
in that bottle, right? Or are we just now getting drunk on the internet?
I'm trying
Because
to
if we are, I need to get some.
I'm trying to create a frog for you. No,
Yeah,
not rocking you.
it's a good. I need to be quiet when you're making sounds, otherwise I'm like ruining it with my witty banter that everybody loves. Um, no, that that was cool. I just wait. Let me make your finger bigger. Are these the frogs that are in nuts?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Why don't we? Why are you keeping the good frogs from us, Mooch? You just give us the frogs. Okay. What else is cool? Paul is like, I can hear the frog. Oh, my webcam died. Oh, it came back. That was lovely intermission from the webcam gods.
um,
Okay, what else is cool? Um, so I told you I was gonna throw you some curveballs. So what would a beaver that is throwing up while being catapulted into the sky sound like? Because I'm making a game about vomiting beavers.
okay. I mean, the vomiting obviously would have to have some voice
You'd have to
acting.
drink some weird shit and then vomit it out.
I would probably. Let me see if I have something smaller. No. I would probably take some piece of cloth
Okay.
and make it like super wet. Mm,
Make some cloth and make it super wet for the vomiting beaver. Wait,
yes.
why for? But for the launching or for the?
Wait for it.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
No, I don't know. I mean, if the
I
beaver vomits,
made.
right?
Yeah, my webcam died. Boop 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 boop. Let me just try to restart it. Ta-da-da. Small technical issues while Mooch prepares the vomiting beaver. Why is this not? Ta-da.
Finally, I'm not the only one having problems.
Yeah.
Technical problems.
That's not great. You'll just have to watch me with my mouth open. Or like this, which is slightly less great. Video capture device. Oh man, it's the actual,
I can walk on snow while you're doing
it's
that.
actually the computer driver of the stupid webcam that crashed.
Are you freezing already?
Wait, are you just walking on snow for,
Yes,
what is
it's
this?
obvious now.
A duct taped,
Yeah. It broke at some point. It's the way it's, I
is it
mean, everybody
like
knows
a
it, right?
cold pack
It's,
or
no, it's cornstarch. Um,
cornstarch?
yes, and you can see it when you look into those, you know, that's the why it is in this fake leather. I don't want to call it a bag because it's really just um, yeah, a taped leather thingy because it gives off dust like crazy, so you can't put it in fabric alone.
Right.
Yeah, cornstarch.
Uh, yeah, my other webcam died, which sucks. So we'll have to use this one. Aha! My green screen doesn't work. Oh yeah, Mooch, you can't see me. Anyway, we'll keep going.
I'm drinking again. I can't stand this.
You're drinking again. So wait, we're still on our way to the beaver,
Yeah,
space beaver, with the wet towel.
yeah. So your beaver. Now it's not really wet anymore. Thank you. Yeah, it really needs to be soaking wet. Okay. You would have your beaver like that was the vomit coming on the
So
ground.
one more
And
time.
maybe if the vomit was and if it was vomiting in grass, I would probably add some to it.
Uh,
Like
uh,
but obviously the balance
sorry,
between those things is
the
not
grass vomit really hit me because that was very accurate. I think I've never heard of beaver vomit. But now if we want to add like a swoosh because it's also being, catapulted into the
yeah, I mean
sky.
you really need a little more space for that because whooshes take space. You need space for whooshes,
You need
you know.
space for
Um,
whooshes. Another good
yeah, because
Foley, a little bit of good Foley wisdom.
a really good thing to swing around when you need a good is a cable or something like this, maybe. No, it's not really.
Just this
Also,
sound,
I don't have any. Huh,
the
what?
sound that made when you pulled that out was just like a perfect like cash register opening.
Maybe the beaver would just go into space doing like
Oh, like more of a, what do you call that? Like a non-diegetic sound.
yeah. No, but honestly, when you do whooshes, then you swing something through the air with a lot of force,
Mm.
and you really need something that's longer than 10 centimeters. So I would
Wait,
probably
you need
break
something that's
something if I
longer
did
than
that
10
now.
centimeters.
Yeah, you need the longer your cable is, the more you can like get a nice sound of it.
Right,
A really nice thing to use is a mesh sieve. Is that what it's called?
right.
What you use for? But I don't think I have one in here. I would have to steal it from my kitchen. But this thing sometimes makes that's your beaver.
It's like 100 beavers, but I guess you can chop it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also as you just heard, when you do whooshes, you always have a lot of air moving,
Right.
and you have to be really careful. And I don't have any, what do you call it? Popschutz? I just know in German. The thing that prevents the popping noise, you know?
Right.
The thing that would prevent
Whoa, your
that.
voice just went. in my head. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop trying to fix my webcam. I'm sorry. This is bad streaming etiquette. Um,
Oh, actually, I found my favorite object.
okay, sounds
It's this
great.
thing.
What? Is that a real cowbell? Mooch, did you kill a
Yeah.
horse and a cow? Or did you liberate? Did you
Actually,
kill a horse and
it's
liberate a
a
cow?
horse bell.
It's a horse bell. It's the
I
same
I only
horse.
did the horse.
It's the same
Um,
horse.
no, I found it in Norway in the mountains.
Wow.
It was just lying there. There was no cow, so I assumed I could take it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's treasure. If nobody else is around and you're in a different country, it's treasure, right?
Yeah, right.
Um, it's it's at least it's. I don't think it's neo-colonialist if it's in Norway, so you're probably fine. Um, okay, what else is good? A better sound, maybe like creaky doors. The
Oh, yeah,
That's a
creaky
common.
doors. So this is a creaking device that
Sorry, I didn't see it coming for some reason. Uh,
yeah, that I built at some point,
okay.
and it creaks on its own, obviously. Wait, let me.
What?
But it doesn't really sound like a door, does it?
I mean, it sounds
Um,
like only the creepiest door you could ever imagine.
yeah, and that's actually the thing I always want to say I love most about Foley, but because I love everything. But
Yeah,
one thing that I really enjoy is working with resonances. Like you can change the sound of something by attaching something else to it,
right.
um, and using the resonance of the other object. For example, I mean that's obviously also not a door and also not a wooden door, but
Is it like a underground like bomb shelter vault door?
yeah,
Oh, I just get transported to a submarine. Wait, are you using the knife sharpener?
yes. Yeah, and I mean you could do like door creakings, like for your submarine door or whatever, but you could also do like the metal stress uh, thingies, those short things that when your submarine is like about to burst or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I got a couple. I got a couple questions. Rather than indulging me, Char asks about how to do a ghost, and Ryan asks about campfire crackling. You can pick whichever you think is best.
a ghost. Well, I mean the campfire crackling is a super.
So I got this ghost at a
Oh.
flea market. I just put the ghost in front of the microphone.
Yeah, no, that would be me in the morning, and then you have your ghost.
Yeah.
You can do a campfire with this stuff.
Bubble wrap?
Yeah.
Ah,
Wait.
it's a pretty good campfire.
Yeah. There's your campfire.
Nice.
And a ghost? I don't know.
Do you have any
I really don't
do you
know.
have any like effects that you would do to your voice that aren't digital? You know, like you could record yourself saying ooh and then make it
Yeah.
cool in
Yeah.
like a digital level, but do you ever, I don't know, speak through a ventilator or something to get the source recording to be
Yeah, totally. Um, I mean, only if I know what I'm, or if I have a feeling that it's going to be right.
were you gonna say only if I know what I'm doing? That's
Kind of.
that kind of implies that you often don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of Foley, that it's um that it's really playing around with objects.
Can you show what you're holding? I can't. I can't. I don't want to do the stream anymore.
Why? Am I ruining
No,
ruining everything
it's
for
just
you?
too funny. Just
Ooh, ooh. I don't know how does it sound on the other
it's
end.
perfect.
Ooh.
I love it. It's
Um,
too good. What do you use that for?
uh, I think I used it. I used it
For
recently,
ghosts?
actually. No, um, for a car in a game.
A car?
Yeah, I mean it's a not a realistic car thingy, um, but I can't say too much about it because it's still unannounced.
Ah, yes. Ubisoft's new Assassin's Creed cars.
Yeah.
Wait, does Ubisoft make Assassin's Creed? I know things about games.
Yes, we
Um,
do. Um, yeah, no, it's the Flixbus simulator.
Flixbus Simulator.
Do you know that one?
Well, I know the Flixbus, but
There's a Flixbus simulator. You can
really?
you're the bus driver and you're getting people from A to B.
Oh, that's great. People who paid very little to be on the bus. Um,
So yeah, it's a game where the car keeps crashing and riding bumpy roads, and I just layered this onto the car
as a rattling
sound
sound?
to yeah, exactly. But I did a few layers of metal rattling with different
Yeah,
objects.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Paul says that I think this was about the door creaking sound, that it's kind of straight out of a 2000 point and click game, which yeah, I think is pretty accurate. It's kind of like a Resident Evil or something door open sound. Or somebody asks, I think maybe rhetorically, but I think it's a good question. How do you come up with your ideas? Is it yeah, like how does your brain work? It's
Um, uh, I mean, most of the time, at least the material is clear, the material I'm
mm,
looking for.
yeah,
So I always go from there. Um, and if the material is unclear, then I think about like what's this thing made of? What should it sound like? Should it sound like metal or plastic or
right,
stone or whatever? Um, and then is it like a small object or a big object, or something with a thin wall or a thick one? Is it solid
yeah,
or hollow? These kinds of things. And then I try stuff that I think might fit, and then I attach other things. If something is too small, for example, then I attach something big to it. Um, Suitcases are a very good source of resonance.
do you have one?
They give like excellent bodies to sounds. Like, for example, if you want to do a steering wheel for a car, like in movies, like you see someone driving and they always like lift up their hand and uh, touch the steering wheel
Yeah,
again. I know that I brought the thing. I just need to find it.
this is probably the story of your life. I know the thing
What?
is in the room, but where in the room? I kind of want before we go, one thing I definitely want to do is for you to pick up the camera and or one of the cameras and show around the room, and but let's get the steering wheel
Yeah.
going.
So this is from a chair,
Like an
office chair.
armrest.
Yes.
Okay. I'm no
And if
longer
you attach that,
surprised.
if you attach that thing to a suitcase,
Yeah.
then you have this. This thing has already a good surface for the steering wheel, and the suitcase gives it that
Because you
body that you would expect of a car. It's also a super subtle sound. I mean, you don't usually don't. I mean, sometimes people do in movies, but often it's really just when they're turning the car and touching the
right.
steering wheel. Yeah.
Nice. And then the
And also the speaking of suitcases, the floor of the caravan and nuts is a suitcase mostly.
really. So when you walk around in a
Yeah.
caravan, it's actually you. stepping on a little suitcase.
Walking around in a suitcase.
That's that's brilliant. Uh,
Yeah, it's a super big ass hard plastic suitcase
that's great.
that I can't fit in here right now, but yeah.
Do you want to show? I kind of just want to point at things in your room and ask you what you've ever used them for. But I think we've used a bunch of the stuff that's in the frame already. What's the in the foot cam? There's like a stand for a Christmas tree or something. What
Hmm.
is that?
It is a stand for a Christmas
Oh
tree.
wow, I think I am impressed by myself for recognizing that. Sure, I'm sure everyone
Whoops.
else is too. It is really a stand for a Christmas tree. Boy,
I used that thing for the footsteps and nuts on those metal grid thingies in the swamp,
for the
you know?
oh right, yeah. So that's not in the demo, but there'll be a part in the game where you walk over some metal grating, and it sounds like this. This is 90% of the soundscape of Half-Life.
Yeah, it rattles too much right now. I stabilize it with some kind of cloth so it doesn't give off too much of this,
Yeah,
you know? But
it's like climbing a ladder. Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody in the chat asks if this is how most sound designers do the sounds, if they just experiment with everyday objects until it sounds cool. I think those are different questions, but yeah, what do you think in terms of, nowadays, how many sound designers use your techniques or would just go purely digital?
It really depends on the game and the budget and the needs of the game. Uh, I mean, uh, super big AAA studios have their own Foley artist, or they book a Foley artist
Okay.
and record stuff with them.
Big AAA
Um,
studios like, for example,
I was
Ubisoft.
supposed to work on what?
Like big studios like, oh, let's say, for example, Ubisoft.
Yes,
You were supposed to
exactly.
work on,
Dead Island 2.
oh, what happened?
But then, yeah, I mean, it got. I think I'm not allowed to say cancelled. It was
Post,
given to another developer.
ah,
I mean, it started out at Jaeger in Berlin.
right.
Um, yeah, that was a big bummer.
That sounds like a bummer. Um, but hey, I'm kind of happy because you probably wouldn't have worked on Nuts
Yeah, me
if you
too.
were.
Me too.
It's kind of
Um,
incredible, like if we are humble bragging anyway, how we got this team together with one of the Baldur's Gate 3 writers and the supposed sound designer of Dead Island 2, and me, the man who
award, nearly award winning.
the man who made 3 mobile games that nobody played. So there's really some talent in this.
I played it.
Yeah, because you're my
Yeah.
friend and you have to.
Kind of. No. Yeah, but coming back to the question,
Yeah.
I think a lot of game sound designers record a lot of stuff. Um, but obviously not everyone has all of that stuff lying around. Um, so I think it's mostly a mix. And also you can't do everything with your own recordings, not in a efficient way.
Mm.
As soon as things get really big, like a car crash or I don't know,
Yeah.
then it's just not enough to have a jerry can rattling. I mean, you can do those detail things, but sometimes you just need a recording of something really big, uh,
Yeah.
or weapons, or I don't know, motor stuff. Like, I mean, I can do a small motor with this thing. I mean, you can obviously alter that thing again with the
Do
resonance.
it. Ah, it's like a chainsaw.
You know.
Oh.
But I can't do a car motor or a
So
bomb or
would you sometimes record a
whatever.
sound like this and then just like digitally alter it so that it's um that it sounds lower or something, so more like a real car,
Yeah, sure, all the time.
right?
yeah, or you can double stuff and or duplicate stuff and have like one lower version and one original version and bring them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also the beauty of game audio, that you don't have this clear um, border between different audio. What's the word? Um,
Uh,
Jobs. Let's call it jobs.
Jobs.
I mean, in the movie industry, it's often like you have a Foley artist, and
Yeah.
that Foley artist does nothing else than just doing the real world noises that are made by moving creatures.
Right.
And then there's someone who edits the Foley, and then there's someone who does the sound design, and then there's someone who edits the dialogue, and then there's someone who does the music, and then there's someone who produces the
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
and then there's someone who mixes the whole movie, and it's all different positions in different people. And in game audio, it's at least in smaller studios, it's often a very interdisciplinary. No,
Yeah.
that's not the right word. But you know what I
I
mean.
know. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm just looking at something, and Jonas Turner once said something on Twitter, and it's my favorite quote:
okay.
"The rustier, the
The
crustier."
rustier, the crustier. Okay, I need some examples of that. If you've
Yeah,
never
because I mean,
if you never heard of Jonas Turner, he made Tormentor X Punisher, and he actually made the sound for a crazy amount of um, well, games I like at least, like a lot of Lambert games, like Nuclear
nuclear
Throne.
throne.
Nuclear Throne, yes, which me and Mooch are both big fans of. So you should definitely check him out if you don't know who Jonas Turner is. But he's also an amazing DJ or live performer.
Yeah,
Um, Wait, why are we talking about Jonas? Yes, the rustier, the crustier. Well,
the rustier.
I got him to, or he's performed live at some indie game festivals, including Screen Shake, which I used to organize as Lobster, and it's just really high BPM, very danceable techno, and he wears a crazy mask. It's great.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, you
Nice.
should ask him about that.
I will.
Um, okay, I want
Yeah.
to hear
So
about Rustier the Crustier. That might be the title of the stream, the Rustier the Crustier.
yeah, yeah. That's all.
Is that a rusty? Can we see how rusty? The camera feed is actually pretty low quality
Which
at the
one?
moment. The, the
Yeah.
the foot
It.
one is fine, so maybe show it under the foot camera.
I don't
What
know
is
if you see
that?
it. It's a.
Is it a rapier? Is it like an actual sword?
Yeah.
Whoa, like a fencing
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know what it's called,
Wow,
but yeah. And this thing you also, I think you saw it when
a
you did
sickle.
the announcement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And both of these things are not new, but rusty, and they give a lot of friction.
Mm.
But also this goes for everything that's supposed to squeak and creak. Um, like I bought this thing when I needed it for
It's a
some
hinge. It
doors.
needs to be a bit further. I
Yes.
can't see it on the camera, the top camera. There we go. Yeah.
And it was new, and it didn't make any sound. And I was like, "Fuck! What do I do?"
Make it rust real quick.
Yes, and you know how I do it?
No, how do you? This is not a
You
problem
have
a normal
to.
person has to solve.
No, but I have it regularly. So you put things in vinegar.
In vinegar.
Yes, and then next day you have like, and again, if you attach it to something else,
Um,
um, it gets bigger and different.
what? That's
It's
outrageous.
amazing,
That's
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
I have a small comment, by the way. A fencing sword is called a foil, and I know
Hmm.
this because one of the people in the chat, also our co-developer Torve, used to be national fencing champion, and
Really
I think that's why he just educated us about the name of the fencing sword. Um,
nice. Do you have any? What was the name again?
a foil.
Yeah. How many foils do you have that you can give to me?
I'll ask Torve. Torve, if you're still watching. Oh, he says it's that specific type. The specific type you have is called a foil. How many do you have, and can Mooch have some? is we'll deal with this.
I want them
We'll
all.
deal with this later. Are you gonna put them in vinegar?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, you probably shouldn't expect them back anytime soon. Um,
No, no, never give anything that your heart depends on
yeah.
to me.
Oh, so
I will break
sorry,
it.
Torvi only has sabers, which I guess is
I will take them too, I
she'll
guess.
take those too. Do you want to show us some more stuff? What's the red handle that's under the camera? What? Okay, what is that? You go first.
Um, that's also an example of the rustier, the crustier. I think it's a cheese grater or whatever.
What would you use that for?
Everything with a crank. I mean, not everything, obviously, but uh, let's say you have a well where someone's. Do you say well? Do you know what I mean?
A well with
The
like a
thing where you.
winch, or
Yes. I mean, I would try to find a good resonating body.
it's great. Yeah, it's like some I don't know, something falling through a bunch of pipes or what's the red handle in front of the camera or red in front of the camera on the screen the
This thing?
photo camera. Yes, that thing.
It's a saw.
It's a saw.
Yeah.
What do you do with the saw?
And yeah, I mean, you do the same thing as with the foil, but it sounds different. You can do
Can we hear
shings with
the
it.
foil and the saw to see how different it sounds?
Okay.
That's the saw.
Whoops. Brun, brun.
What was that?
I'll show you in a minute.
Oh, it has way less.
Yeah.
It's way shorter. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that thing is it's a broken.
A broken xylophone?
Yeah, something like that. So if your game had skeletons, moving skeletons,
Right.
maybe I would use this. And then like coming towards you and maybe alter that
So wait, how is it a
really
broken
bit.
xylophone and not a regular xylophone?
Uh, it just broke. I mean,
But
what
like,
do you want me to say?
how is this different from a functioning xylophone, but it still does the xylophone-y things?
You can do
Oh,
like
you're not
it
supposed to.
moves.
Yeah, right.
And then, no, I mean the frame on the back
Did you
is
break it on
loose.
purpose? You don't
No
you don't have to
comment.
answer that.
Maybe my kids are watching.
Yeah, or some like xylophone aficionados are like, how dare you? Uh, yeah, it's clearly a skeleton being destroyed sound, says Torve. Um, yeah. We also have Ryan asking for a sword fight where potentially somebody is losing. So I don't know, but I guess for a sword fight in a game, you would record separate fighty sounds.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, you have so many different things. You would have a shing sometimes,
A shing.
but
Can we
also
get a
just like
shing?
yeah, you had some
Well,
shings.
they were
How many
very
shings do you
rusty.
want?
They were very rusty shings. What if we want like a?
Yeah,
Not everybody fights with rusty swords.
okay, maybe like that. That's not a rusty shing. That's a really clean
Yeah, it's pretty clean. I
shing.
think if it is rusty, it's partially because of the audio compression, which is not doing justice to the things. Okay, I want to point at more stuff.
Yeah.
But do you mind? Is it hard for you to give us like a little look around? I'm so curious about other parts of the room.
Yeah, no. What camera do you think is better?
It's really easy for me to change. So just I think the foot camera mainly has been showing the box, so you can move it, and then we
Okay.
can still see your face.
So, well, let me have a look at the other, so I see what I'm doing here. Yeah. So there
Okay, let me
is
make this
a bucket full with
a bucket full of
long
stuff.
things. a bucket full of long things like sticks and
Okay, so if people in the chat, if you see something cool, just yell it out and we'll get to it.
I mean, this thing is amazing, but also huge. It's a wait, now you don't see it,
Uh,
do you? It's a metal, whoops, a metal tube that's like super long.
okay.
It's about
Did you use this for the
one and a
flag
half
in
meters.
Nuts?
Yeah, I actually,
Because I
yeah, it,
recognize the sound from when you pick up the flag. That's amazing.
yeah, exactly. Um, and one thing that I think I have never used, but need to use, so find something in your game for it. This thing.
That's how our game design works. Mooch finds a cool physical object, and that's how we make the game mechanics.
It's so heavy. Um, it's
I'm so excited.
you don't see it. You don't
No,
even
I'm waiting
get
for
it
the
in the
sound,
picture.
but yeah, I kind of see it.
It's, I mean, it's one of those the things that are on the pavement to keep cars from driving onto the pavement.
And we shall not ask how you got it.
It was lying there.
Wait, okay, make some more sounds with it. It sounded kind of like a flagpole.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
Nice.
obviously it really depends what kind of sound you want it to make or what you. Yeah, you could use it for. I don't
A
know when you're at.
blacksmith or something.
Yeah, or when you're at the. My brain is not functioning
Yeah,
anymore. It's like super hot in here. Um, in a port. You say port?
port, like
You have a sailboat, and there's
a
like
sailboat.
things dingling
Gotcha.
against
Yeah, yeah,
the.
yeah. Against the sailboat. Um,
Okay, let's continue the round.
Paul is impressed with your anarchist taking down of the establishment. No, I made that up, but he said that's amazing.
Okay,
Okay, let's do a couple more, but then I think we should
so
also call it because we've been going for more than an hour.
yeah, this is like a lot of small things in these drawers, stuff like thunder box.
There was some. What is that? Oh my
Um,
God! Wait, keep that toy drawer. No, I want to
oh,
see the toy drawer.
shit.
Uh,
Which one?
the one on the
The
right.
green one?
Is that a camel toy?
Yes.
Fidget spinner.
Yeah,
Oh
fidget
my
spinners
God.
are great. That would actually be a good ending sound. I'm gonna keep that there.
A good ending sound for the stream.
Yes.
Yes. And we,
Yeah, I mean fidget spinners. I just grabbed one. I don't know if
yeah.
you see
Well,
it
this
here,
is a
right?
good, maybe a
Um,
good. Ryan asked, "Can you do a sci-fi sound? Is there any sci-fi sounds you can make with a fidget spinner?"
Camel, stop it.
I'm, I'm so
I
sleepy
can't
right
stop
now.
it. Yeah, I mean, I think this alone is a bit sci-fi-ish, and when you just apply a bit of effect to it digitally, it's awesome. But you can also just apply them to,
It's
uh,
very hard to hear though. If it,
you know,
yeah.
something else attached. But actually, one thing that does make a great sci-fi sound is this tiny little thing.
Okay.
I have no idea what it is. I hope you can hear it.
Whoa. Wait, one more time. Because the start was kind of like, yeah, okay, but then the end was amazing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's really cool. It's It's probably one of those toys that like can like send like a little helicopter thing out in the air, which you would probably need like an extra bit for, but I don't know. Feels like I've had some of those toys where you go like brrr, and then
Yeah,
something like flies
yeah.
up in the air,
Hmm.
but it probably never will again, since it's in your Foley
No.
studio where objects go to die.
No, they're not
No, no,
dying. They're
no.
just
New life.
finding a better
Yeah,
life.
yeah. They're no longer stopping traffic and cars from going in important places, but they have a new life.
Yeah, and they have a life where they're allowed to do different things.
Yes.
You know, that's really something.
Somebody asked, "Is
This
that
is
a
my
Beyblade?" That might be what that actually is. A
what?
tiny Beyblade, the thing you just used. Okay, what's that shiny
Yeah.
ball? What's a
What?
shiny ball?
That thing?
Yeah,
That one?
yeah.
It's just a
It's
metal.
just a shiny ball.
Um,
I love it.
yeah, I mean, sometimes you need rolling things, and
Wait,
that's actually
can
something
we do
that
it?
I find really interesting. That
Can
what?
we do the rolly thing without talking for a second?
Yes.
It's, it's really creepy for some reason.
Yeah, it has this talking thing inside, right? I think it
Talking thing?
sounds a bit like, yeah, I think it sounds like the ball is talking, like this.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is one of those like you just play the sound and the players will be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, speaking of talking, that's actually one of my favorite things.
Okay. Apollo is like, "Oh, it's just the orb. Don't worry about the orb." Uh, is this German or?
It's nuts. I always wanted to make a voice for
It's pretty sci-fi too.
a weird creature with that. Yeah.
I see. It's a pretty good sound. But yeah, we unfortunately have a real voice actor for our game, which
Damn
is
it.
also you. I've been meaning to ask actually. Do you when you so Mooch? People who don't know, the main character in our game, Nina, Mooch is also the voice of Nina. Um, and I was wondering if you do anything special to your voice, or if it's really just kind of you, or if you like put yourself in a different headspace to be Nina.
Definitely, definitely different headspace.
Different
Yes.
headspace. Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's acting, so I try to
Wait,
to
voice acting is acting? I never thought it. No, I did.
yeah,
I did
it
know that.
is.
Yes.
It's not just talking. Um, no, I mean, Char wrote all this beautiful stuff about what kind of person she
Mm,
is and how she evolves and during the game. So I do try to nail that.
nail
But
it.
I also try to imagine I'm on the phone because she's always phoning you, and you talk differently to people when
Very
you're on
true.
the phone.
Yeah. Um,
So when I'm recording, I'm always doing this, like holding the imaginary phone to my ear
yeah.
and trying to imagine I'm really speaking to someone
Mm,
on the phone.
yeah, that makes sense. Um, okay. Let's do one more object or drawer.
Let me point the thing towards the. No, no, you don't see anything, do you?
Some gas.
I mean,
Are
you're
those
seeing
gas
the.
canisters? Oh,
Yeah,
it's kind of rotated now, but whoa, whoa! Is that a fidget spinner with five things instead of three?
this thing. Yeah, it is.
It's not
It
allowed.
has these weird.
That's illegal.
Yeah, they also sound super different. The different
I didn't
ones.
know that. Okay, that
So,
was just
yeah.
self-indulgent. What's the gas canister for?
You mean this thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's not for anything. It just lies here until I need it.
But
You know?
what kind of sounds does it make?
Uh, it's just a metal object that
It's
you
like
can
anything
touch.
with like yeah, like scuba gear or something.
Yeah, right. Could be something like that. Uh, oh,
Oh,
I also have another sound that I just recently
is this from a
used
soda
this, and I
stream? Ryan asks, is this from a soda stream?
yes, it is.
Ah,
One sound that I recently made and I loved it so much is this.
whoa! It's like somebody, I don't know. It's like something coming out of your toilet would make that sound. It's the beaver.
Yeah, the beaver throwing up in your toilet.
Kinda, yeah.
It's already
Wow,
yeah,
that's a cool sound.
yeah.
Okay, favorite sounds, favorite objects. There's got to be something else in that pile that the camera is currently looking at. A chewed off
Um,
drumstick. I have to tilt my
what?
head because it's at a weird angle. Uh,
Uh, I mean, they're all
okay,
great.
let's do one more.
They're my
I
babies.
have another idea. I have another idea. I'm gonna close my eyes and you make a sound and I'm gonna guess what it is. What object you're holding. So pick something I will never guess.
Something you would never
Yeah,
guess. That's not how this
I'm gonna
works.
close my eyes. Maybe we should, yeah,
Um,
we should do this, and if it's fun, we can do it for the nuts quiz tomorrow. Okay, I am blindfolded. Make a sound, and I will show my Foley skill knowledge, which I definitely
damn you.
have. Wait, what? We don't have to do this if you don't think it's fun.
Keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
But maybe you're gonna.
It is okay. It's half sounds like a pump, but then there's a weird like whistling sound. Do you do it again?
Wait, I was really hoping to just do this.
Oh, the pumping wasn't part of it. It just kind
It is because I need to do
it
it,
kind of
but of
sounds like
course you
white
can.
noise. Can I look?
Yeah.
What is it?
Um, Let me turn that around. It's this thing from. Where do you see it best? Probably here.
What? What? Oh, so it is like a air.
It is a pump. So it's a bus.
Oh,
You know, it's a bus opening its doors.
yes. Okay, I just realized what it was. So it's like normally a pump for liquid, right? Where you like spray
Yeah.
plants or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
can
just the
do
pump
that now.
itself makes a really great sound. I don't know what you would ever use it for, but
Me neither.
um yeah. Okay, let's do one more. There's got to be one wall or one corner of the room that you haven't. It feels like this room is just. It's kind of like the Little Mermaid. Okay, I'm gonna look this up. Little Mermaid, human artifact. You know the Little Mermaid where she has this like upwards tunnel of stuff.
No.
Ouch. No.
Sorry.
Her collection included chests, silverware, candle holders, mirrors, jewelry. You are the Little Mermaid. Um, this is some deep Disney lore, but she collects a bunch of human artifacts in like this really magical place, and your room really looks like that. But I can't find a picture because probably Disney has copyrighted the shit out of everything on the internet. Uh, what is that? Is that a cash register?
No. It's better. Ta-da!
Where did you get that?
I live right above a restaurant.
Where you are no
In
longer
Seattle.
welcome.
They suck anyway. Yeah. And it's just like such a nice body. Why doesn't it close?
It's broken.
No, it's so nice and
Ah,
I
excellent.
love it. And it's also very rusty.
Yeah, it's pretty rusty and crusty.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, show us one more secret spot in your room, and then I think I'm gonna
A
call it a
secret
day.
spot in my
Then
room.
we listen to the camel and call it a day.
Um, it's not a secret spot, but I mean, right behind me, I have my uh, my different
Your
floor
fake hair.
surfaces.
Is that a wig?
Where did you see
What
that?
the thing you were just holding? It's between your knees.
Oh, no, it's not a wig. I do have wigs though, for like when someone's brushing their long hair or scratching beards. I need wigs for
What is that?
that. That's I don't know what the word for this is in English.
Me neither.
Let me look it up.
A collection of hairballs.
Uh, Bast?
Bast?
Is it really bast?
Like BAST?
Yes.
We're learning things. Does it make a sound while I look up what it is? Fibrous material from a plant, in particular the inner bark of a tree, such as lime. Okay, are you making sounds? 'Cause I don't hear anything.
Stop talking.
It's really subtle. Like I think it's one of those
Yeah,
sounds
I
that
mean,
the microphone also cuts off. Like the Google Hangouts
you
is
would
probably like, oh,
I would use it for a very low-key grass
mm,
surface. And if you want it more prominent,
you do that, right?
I use tape.
Is this tape from like a cassette?
No, it's not tape from a cassette, it's tape from a reel. Like
From a reel? Oh, right.
this thing.
Is it?
It was a bit of embarrassing actually. I bought those. I ran out of tape. You know, I sometimes stole cassettes from my kids. But at some point I was like, no, I can't keep doing that.
Did they have an
And
intervention with you? There was like a day you came home and your kids and your partner were standing there and they
no,
were
but
like, "Mom, we need to talk. We you
no,
can't come
they
into our rooms and take our stuff. You have an addiction." Uh,
no, it was more like, where's my favorite?
have you
And
seen
I'm
my?
like,
And then like the like the like anime sweat drop. Like, oops.
yeah, and I mean, if you walk on this stuff uh, a lot of times, then it's so crinkled that it doesn't sound nice anymore. So you need new
Uh,
stuff every once in a while. So I was like, I need more tape. So I looked up this guy in Berlin on eBay and bought, I think, 2 or 3 of those from him.
great.
And when I came there, he was like a hi-fi enthusiast. He was like, "Oh yeah, I rewinded the tape like a couple of times to make sure it's really nicely on the reel."
Yeah.
And I was stupid enough to say, that doesn't matter. I only use it for making sounds,
Oh
like
my
for
God.
walking on it. And I think maybe I broke his heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, incredible. I'm running out of ideas, so we should probably call it soon. Um, quit while we're winning. Do you
Yeah.
want to show us one last thing, and then we show the camel, and then we go back to making the game, right?
One last thing. So one thing I really love also is when you have rolling things. Um, Especially in movies when someone has like a, I don't know, let's say a suitcase and they're
Yeah,
dragging that
sure.
suitcase along, um, then I have to make a continuous sound.
Hmm.
But if you have like wheels that are fixed in one direction,
Yeah.
you can't do that because you would have to do like,
Yeah. Wow. That is
and
definitely
that's not what you're going for. So
it's another
um,
problem I never
yeah,
thought of.
yeah, right. I have a collection of different wheels that turn in every direction, so I can just go endlessly. Uh, and of course,
Amazing.
you can also with these attach something to it, and then it sounds like more than just two wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Somebody just asked real quick if the stream will be online later because they just tuned in. And yes, absolutely. I'm recording the whole thing. I'll throw it up on YouTube. As long as none of the sounds we made are accidentally copyrighted, it should be on YouTube. Disney owns the saw foil sound that we made. Also.
Ubisoft owns the jerry can.
Yes.
No, they don't. Now imagine that was a flat surface.
I'm imagining it.
Then you wouldn't have the donk 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 donk.
But maybe I want the donk 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 donk. Don't take my
Maybe you want it.
don't
Yeah.
take my donk
Maybe.
donk donk donk. I like it. It's great. The rotating wheels are such a good hack. You have so many unique problems to solve. This is beautiful. Okay, we learned so much today. Thank you so much for. Oh, we're not done. I see.
Oh, I'm just preparing the goodbye.
Oh, okay, that was the camel.
Philip.
Yeah, thank you so much for everybody on the stream. I think we were like around 20, 30 people most of the time. But hopefully some people watch it on YouTube, some people watch it later, whatever. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time, Mooch.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Definitely wishlist our game if you can and play it and play the demo. We worked hard on it, obviously, but as you can tell, if it's not obvious, we're all really good at our jobs. It's not just Mooch; it's everyone. I'm gonna take a nap. Streaming is hard work, man. Whew. I don't know how to do it. The kids. This was super lovely and actually really really fun. I'll catch you later, Mooch, when the Stream Festival, the Steam Festival hellscape has ended, and
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, one more thing. Tomorrow, Char is going to host a squirrel bingo or squirrel quiz for us all around the same time or at the same time as today. So, is it moving its head?
Yeah.
Wow. So Char will organize a squirrel bingo and quiz, and we might even have like a prize. So yeah, check that out.
Question mark?
Question mark. And meantime, on this channel, we'll probably be running some restreams of older streams and of gameplay videos that people made on YouTube. Yeah, and we're actually featuring like people who do Let's Plays on YouTube. If you make a cool Let's Play of our game, of our demo, and you would like us to put it on our Steam channel, by all means, send us a note. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Thanks for a great stream, and see y'all later. See you, Mooch.
Bye.
Bye.